Yeah, back on the SportsMax Zone, we're hanging out with the legendary coach, Glenn Mills. He's just returned from his 10th Olympic Games, Paris 2024, and we're discussing all things Jamaican track and field. By the way, just a quick snippet about this man, Glenn Mills. Outside of the fact that he's coached world champions and world championship and Olympic medalists in the sprints, he also has national record holders in the 100 and 200 meters for a number of countries. Of course, Jamaica with the world record holder Usain Bolt. There is St. Kitts and Nevis with Kim Collins. There is Antigua and Barbuda as well. There is Great Britain in there as well with Zarnell Hughes. And there might be some other countries somewhere in the Middle East or something that I'm not 100% sure about right now. Maybe like the Maldives or something like that, right, Mr. Mills? So before the break, we were talking about the relays and what needs to be done, especially given the fact that Jamaica ended Paris 2024 with 0 medals from the relays. And you think about it, had Jamaica gotten a medal in, let's say, 4 of the 5 relays, you end up with 10. And the individuals who are saying, well, it was such a poor Olympic Games, it would not seem so poor after all if you have those relay medals. But there were no relay medals for Jamaica. The World Relays come up again in 2025, May 2025. Once again, it will be the same qualification process for the World Championships in Tokyo, Japan next year. The top 14 from the World Relays with the 2 next fastest. What should the Jamaica Athletics Administrative Association be doing right now, the season almost complete, to ensure that we do not have a repeat of what happened in 2024?
Well, I would advise them, number one, get this data up. Look at, list your top people in each of the events. And when I say top, I don't mean 4 or 5. I mean maybe
20.
right down the top 24.
Yeah.
Because that's what, three squad.
Yeah.
Up to that, with the possibility of new person emerging. And so you start the dialogue or interaction with the coaches. Don't go to the athletes, because they are not in control of their preparation. So you start your dialogue with the coaches, and a lot with the coaches and the administration. Let's work on a plan, right?
Yeah.
That we are committed to. And this would be a precursor to how you're going to set up your relay squads. Stephen Francis has been begging, like John, crying a voice crying in the wilderness for the past 2 years. Let us deal with the squad concept, and when you hear Stephen is saying that, that's good, because it means that he was committed, and he has quite a number of the persons involved. Let's come up with the plan, get the money to finance the plan, and then we will see that our relay will once again get back on track.
Yeah. Is the synergy in Jamaica's athletics at this stage that would make those conversations relatively easy between administration and coaches?
You'd have to ask that's a question for administration.
Yeah, but you are a coach, so...
Yeah, but I don't have no problem with anybody. One of the things is that over the years, I may have my personal differences, but that has never been a hindrance for me working for the good of the sport and the nation. I mean, when I had Usain Bolt in training, you have never heard that we have had any relay problems with him not running or not wanting to run. Not, as a matter of fact, he was at the forefront of, if you hear him talk about his relay. Yeah. Because part of the literature and the philosophy at races that we value relay because it is where we show the strength of the nation together. Because as I tell my athlete, it's not your name, it's Jamaica.
Yeah.
And so if you look at our history with our top people, with the Johan Blakes and so on and so forth, we're always at relays. We're at the world relays. We had 3/4 of the world record 4x2 with Warren and Blake and so on. Bolt himself ran at the world relays, even when he was not 100% ready.
Yeah.
So we don't have a problem coming, but you have to have the persons who are giving us the dialogue and the synergy, and you need that because you have a number of new coaches and players in the business.
Yeah. I want to ask you a follow-up on what Ricardo is addressing regarding the relationship between the administrators and the other stakeholders, because I remember when I got into the business in the 80s, Glenn, there was a fractious relationship between a lot of the athletes and the J3As. I remember Grace Jackson and Juliette Cuthbert constantly having bickerings with the associations, and the sort of feeling coming from them is that they were world-class athletes and they were being presided over by amateur administration. Now, this is decades later, and I would put it there that Jamaica has advanced multiple times where they are now compared to where they are in the 80s. How would you rate the administration of the athletics in Jamaica, and maybe even the JOA, because at the moment we are hearing a lot of discrepancies over the JOA and the J3As and so on. How would you rate, as a man who's been in the business for so long, the administration of the sport?
Back in the days when they were having those problems, it was a case of the track and field at the time was very amateur. And yes, the athletes were mostly based overseas and exposed to a different level of administration, where these are paid professionals running the thing, especially in America and so on and thing. And so there was this dichotomy and the difference between and so on. But as it advanced over the ages, things have changed, that the association and the administrations have become more sensitive to the professional athlete and give them more, I'd say, autonomy, because, and so on. But right now, it's a slightly different problem. What has happened is that track and field has advanced significantly from the way we usually do it. It is far more professional now, and I think we are lagging behind in that professionalness of the administrative angling of things. The way we organize and do things, it's not going to work, because we have to move into the 24th, 25th
Before
century.
the Olympics, Glenn, you were speaking at a press conference, and you were very critical of the Jamaica Olympic Association's handling of allocating coaches and staffing to support the Olympic contingent. Can you talk a little bit more about that? And is that part of what you are saying now?
Yeah, all right. Having been to the Olympics, this one, and watch the team being administered by, especially in the area of the medical aspect of it, oh gosh. You have the the therapists, they work night and day, every day, going to the track, going to the training track, and so on. The number was totally inadequate. In last year in Budapest, we had as much as 10. This year we had 4. And for the same size team.
And those are physiotherapists?
No, these are the massage therapists. We have 1 physiotherapy for 60 odd people.
For Paris?
Yes.
And you had what for Budapest?
We had, I think we had 2 and about 8 massage therapists.
Wow.
So, and this is something also that glad you bring this up. We going to the games and the camp and so on, we also have to look at the level of the medical thing, especially in the thing of the treatment of the athletes. Massaging alone is not enough. There are modern day machines and things that are very good in the rehabilitation and the treatment of injury.
Well, that's why Jean-El Hughes got injured in the 100
Right.
and 2 days after he could look so impressive in the relay.
Precisely.
For Great Britain.
And one of the things is that Jamaica has 2 of the very best in that area. Eddie Edwards,
yeah.
and Sean Kettle.
And by the way, Edwards was exclusively with Usain Bolt during his career.
During those 12 years, he was the central thing that kept Usain going. And he has qualified himself in a new treatment called human techer.
Yes.
And he would do himself and Kettle. They have been contracted by the US, by Great Britain, about 3 other countries.
So why
he wasn't in Paris?
Why aren't they a part
They
of the
were in
Jamaica
Paris,
staff
but
then?
they're
Not for Jamaica, I mean.
Well, I know Kettle tried to get offered himself to be included, but there was no accreditation.
But why would you have such quality and not be utilizing them though?
So the Van Niekerk, Kettle was responsible for his rehab and thing and so on, and even the Great Britain quarter miler that is doing so well.
Yes.
Yes, he's also responsible for him.
And he was one of the standout performances.
Yeah, and there's several of them because their services and expertise is way out there. And if I had anything, I would get them involved because the athletes would benefit from it tremendously. The last time they worked with the Jamaica team, you could see the line of the athletes. Anytime you pass the room, you know that they are working because they're all lined up because the benefit. And if you talk to them, they'll tell you it makes a difference to their level of performance.
Yeah.
And so this is what has to happen. When we are going, we need to get people like those, and along with the machine and equipment and so on, and so that the athletes can get the very best care available.
So the question is then, Coach, why aren't they involved with the Jamaica setup?
I am a coach.
And not the president of the J3A.
Yeah, I'm just the coach. Yeah. But I think it would, if to get them and so on, because they're professionals, it would involve a certain level of remuneration also.
Yes.
Because he has his practice here in Jamaica, which is oversubscribed, and so on, because the benefits is of such. But they would make themselves available as they do. I mean, Eddie was very instrumental in bringing back the 100-meter bronze medalist here.
At the Olympics?
Yes.
Fred Curley?
Fred Curley. He traveled with Fred Curley for months, working on him and so on, because Fred Curley agent is Usain Bolt agent, so he knows the value and contracted him to work with him and resuscitate him and see he's now back on track for the medal. So we do have people, but we are not moving forward in thing, and the bickering and thing is not going to help us. Insofar as one of the things that is vital is the coaches, because if you notice, every field event, as the athlete jump or run, they run to the side to talk to the coaches. They show them on their thing and they make adjustment and successful. And so I felt that our high jumper,
Lamara Distin,
got a raw deal, because I think if she had her coach, because she's a 2-meter high jumper, she would have a chance of being up there in the medals.
And she didn't even make the final.
Well, they tried at the 9th hour to get her coach, but it didn't work out.
So you're saying there is merit to the complaints, read the accreditation for these field event athletes?
I'm told that when the association finally saw the mysterious manual, it showed that they were entitled to 15 personal coaches and not the 9 that was given them. And certainly somewhere in that distance would have gotten in time to have our coach there to guide her. So there's so much mistakes that there's enough blame to go around. But we cannot continue if we are going to compete against the world with these kind of handicap.
Yeah. Hold it right there, Coach. We do have to go to another break on the SportsMax Zone. By the way, just a quick thing on that Lamara Distin situation and her coach. When the Jamaica Athletics Administrative Association sent out the original list of coaches and personal coaches, Distin's coach was actually on the list initially. Less than 10 minutes later, there was a message to say he was no longer on it and had been replaced by what I think was a massage therapist. So there is that. We go to another break on the SportsMax Zone. Still so much to chat about with Glenn Mills. Lance will have the second zone update after the break, and then we'll continue this discussion. Don't move.